All right, more on this. With just 5 days until the Florida Republican primary, Senator Rubio wants to put an end to reports that he's dropping out of the race. Take a listen.
That is 100% categorically false. I have never discussed dropping out with anyone on my team or anyone on the planet Earth. It is not going, or anyone on any planet for that matter. I am not dropping out of this race. I'm the only one that can beat Donald Trump in Florida, and every poll would say that.
But recent polls show that Rubio is struggling to woo Floridian voters. At a recent rally in Rubio's home county of Miami-Dade, look at this. Supporters filled just one end zone of a football stadium. Here to weigh in, Ed Rollins, former Reagan political director and Fox News political analyst. Does Rubio have any chance of winning Florida?
No, absolutely not. He's way behind in the Fox poll. He's been behind for a substantial period of time. He has no money. It's an expensive state. There's 10 media markets. You know, so all he can hope for is that some of these outside groups that are beating up on the front runner will have some impact, but so far they haven't.
What happens, by the way, if he does suspend his campaign with his delegates?
They're up for grabs. I mean,
Can he direct them in any particular
he can
direction?
try to. You know, first, there aren't very many, and even if he won Florida, he'd still be way behind. Yeah. So my sense is he was a bright, shining star. People appreciated his optimism for a while, and then he got into the, there's an old saying, you don't get into the mud with a pig. The pig's happy and you get dirty. And I think to a certain extent that's what happened to him.
Well, the interesting thing is people are getting dirty now with supposedly the clean guys, the establishment so-called. Now you have Neil Bush signing on to the Cruz campaign from the Bush family. The establishment lost on Jeb. I think that's fair to say. Now they lost on Rubio. Will they lose on Cruz?
Well, Cruz is going to be one of the finalists, and I don't think he cares whether he's an establishment candidate or not. What he cares about is their money.
But could it be an albatross around his neck the way it seemed to be for Rubio?
Well, it was more than that with Rubio. I mean, I think Rubio ran a different kind of campaign. He didn't have the conventional kind of campaign with the ground game and television and all the rest of it. And it was more his personality on free TV, and obviously Trump took all the air out of that oxygen. So, you know, at the end of the day, Cruz knows how to run. Cruz has got a good campaign team. And they have won every time. There's a closed, meaning Republicans only. He wins those races. He wins caucuses. And they're going to go all the way, and they'll basically be very competitive. They need to get Kasich out of the race, and they need to basically get Rubio out of the race and make it a one-on-one is what their desire is.
So you say Cruz is going all the way, which means that Trump, you think, will not have all the delegates, the 1237, by the time of the convention?
No, one of them, if there's just two of them, one of them will have the 1237. And I'm not quite sure which one at this point in time. But I would say certainly Trump has a big advantage at this point. But I'm telling you that Cruz should not be underestimated. He has a very substantial team, and they know how to run a real campaign.
Yeah, he's pulled out some surprising wins. All right, if it is Trump, can he be the unifier he claims he will be?
Not when you're insulting all the candidates. I mean, he's knocked candidates out a month ago, and he's still going back kicking them. I mean, Lindsey Graham has not been a factor in months, and he's basically still pounding them. He has his ability to not only be an infighter, knock you down. Once he gets you in the gutter, he wants to kick you 3 more times. So if you want to be a unifier, you have to basically sit down with people like Ryan and McConnell and what have you and say, here's the party. Let's all come together. And you don't come together when people calling you names.
And finally, if he's not the unifier, if he can't bring those Republicans back in a fold to vote for him in November, is he going to lose?
Well, obviously, at this point in time, like in Michigan, 50% of the voters who are against him very strong, have very unfavorable favors, and especially women. He had a 15-point gap between Republican men and Republican women. He needs to close that gap. He needs to basically bring them together, and a lot of that happens once you become the nominee, if he becomes the nominee.
The sage, Ed Rollins. Thank you, Ed. Good to see you.
Appreciate it.